Hello everyone and welcome back. Hope you're all doing great. In this video, we're going to take a look at some ideas related to posting images and links on our HTML pages. And this is going to be sort of like the last component of HTML that I'm going to formally introduce in this section. After this, we're going to discuss things related to CSS to see how we can format our web pages. And then as we continue on through the course, we might need more HTML and we'll sort of introduce that as it's required. Really just giving the fundamentals here, and then as we need it, we'll introduce more and more. This will get you up and running, at least with HTML. So let's go over to the code again and let's take a look at adding images and links. So with images and links, the process is actually pretty similar. So I'll start off with links, since that one is the one that is maybe a little bit more complicated. And the way that this works is we use an A tag. I'm actually not really sure why it's an A tag. I don't really know what that stands for. I want to say it stands for attribute, but I'm not entirely sure. Regardless, it's an A tag for links. And what we provide with A tags is an href. An href is a reference to some page, so some web page URL. And what we can do here is we can put in pretty much anything. Wherever you want to link the person to, you can put in this href tag. So for example, if I want to link people to google.com, what I could do is I could type in the web address for Google. I could do this, just like that. And then we're going to do something kind of interesting. We're going to close the tag off here. And then we're going to type in what we want the text to say. And basically what's going to happen is it's going to display the text with a link in order for you to click on it. And then when you click on it, you get redirected to the page. This is like a hyperlink, right? So that's the idea of what this tag is doing. So I could say, like, click here to visit Google. And at this point, the link is created. So let's go over to our web page here and let's just see what that looks like. You can see I now have this click here to visit Google. You can see it's underlined. For me, it's purple because I actually tested this beforehand and clicked on it before. For you, it's likely blue, which means that it's unvisited. When you click on this, you see it takes us to google.com as I specified. So that gives you an idea of how this hyperlink works, right? Now, images are going to be a relatively similar idea in the sense that they're going to link to some URL, but instead of linking you to click on it, it's going to link it in a way that displays the image. So let's take a look at that. So the way that this works is we use an img tag, which is short for image. You say img, and then I provide it, rather than an href, a source. So the source for the image. Now, we could do this in a lot of different ways. We can link to a URL like we did with the href. However, it's best to use a static image. What I mean by that is an image that is saved to your computer or server. So for this example, I have this arm assembly thumb.png file that I placed in the same directory as my index.html. And what I could do is I could just type in the name of the file like this. The reason why it's best to use a file that is actually present on your computer is because if you link to an external page, that page might go down at some point, or someone might change the image. If that happens, your website will just take the changes as is, or it will just not display anything, and that's not ideal. What we want to do instead is we want to have the image owned by us, because that way, if we ever want to make changes, we can easily, and we are always sure that the image is going to be there because we have placed it there. So that's the way that we specify an image. Now, there's one other piece to this tag that's important, in my opinion, and that's the alt portion. Now, the alt portion is going to give text to display if the image isn't able to be shown on the screen. So if I wanted to describe this, I could say arm assembly thumbnail, something like that. So why would you want to specify alt text? Well, for one, if the image for some reason isn't found, it will show the text instead. For two, and this is really the main reason, if someone is using a screen reader, for some reason they aren't able to normally read the screen and instead they have the web page maybe read to them, it won't be able to read images, of course. So rather than reading the image, it will read the alt text to describe to them what the image is. This is really important for accessibility, right? And accessibility is a great thing to have because, of course, it allows everyone to use our web page equally. And that's something that is really valuable. If you do that, you'll get more visitors to your web page. For that matter, Google SEO usually favors you if you have this available as well, because we want accessible web pages for everyone. So adding in these alt texts is a really great way to be able to do that. So understanding that, let's take a look at our web page again and see what it looks like now. As you can see, I now have my image displayed on the page. Something interesting is that the link is now showing sort of in line with the image. And that's not necessarily what we want. Maybe we want the link to show above the image, right? Now, again, this is something that we can do with CSS. However, we can also do it in HTML. So I just want to show you how we would do this in HTML as well. It's not necessarily something that gets used a whole lot anymore, but there is this tag known as a break tag. And the way that it works is you do accidentally autofilled it, \br like this. And what this is it's called a break. And what that does, it's easiest to just see visually what this does, is it creates a break between the two elements. You can see it displays the link on the top now and then the image below it. So it sort of like adds in a new line into the actual web page, right? Now, this is typically done using CSS and related components now, but I just wanted to demonstrate this in case you ever come across it, or if you ever do want to use it. If you, for some reason, can't get the CSS to do it, this is a good alternative as well. So to summarize, with this, you have now learned about the images as well as links in HTML. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. In the next video, we're going to take a look at building CSS around our HTML to help to format our web pages.